Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into something absolutely fascinating. We're looking at some of the most profound teachings of ancient Buddhist masters, but through a totally modern, super accessible lens. We're going to explore teacher Lin Ming Shang's unique interpretations straight from his detailed lecture notes. You know, teacher Lin has this brilliant way of taking these vast, complex spiritual concepts and just translating them into ideas that make perfect sense for our modern minds. So let's jump right in and see how he bridges that huge gap between ancient wisdom and our everyday lives. Now, the sheer scale of the promise we're talking about here is just staggering. Think about this. Yongzhi Dashi, a legendary Tang Dynasty monk, basically claimed in his Song of Enlightenment that if you realize the true reality, you can instantly, literally in a single moment, extinguish even the heaviest, most terrible karma imaginable, the karma of Avicii hell. I mean, that's a bold, almost unbelievable claim, right? A sudden, absolute, total transformation. But reading that beautiful ancient poetry kind of leads us right to a huge question. How? How can an average person, someone living a busy modern life, actually achieve this instant liberation? How in the world do we access that kind of unimaginable spiritual power to just instantly wipe away lifetimes of accumulated baggage? It sounds absolutely amazing, but let's be real, it also sounds kind of impossible. Well, to figure this out, we're going to follow teacher Lin Ming Shang's roadmap. We'll look at 1. Realizing true reality, 2. The true Dharma I, 3. The path of difficulty, 4. The quantum language method, and finally, 5. 3 simple requirements.
All right, Section 1, Realizing True Reality.
So what exactly did Yongzhi Dashi mean by true reality? Well, in his lectures, teacher Lin breaks it down perfectly. He defines it as the ultimate truth of the universe, which is often called emptiness or suchness. Reaching this means hitting a state of no person, no dharma. Basically, it means breaking through two massive barriers. First, attachment to yourself, your ego, and second, attachment to external things or concepts. It's a state that's completely, 100% free from arrogance and discrimination.
Moving on to Section 2, the true Dharma I. This brings us to a seriously famous moment. The world-honored one, Shakyamuni Buddha, once said, "I possess the treasury of the true Dharma I, the formless true reality." It does not rely on written words, but is transmitted outside the teachings. This is absolutely crucial because it tells us that this ultimate truth we're chasing, it isn't something you can just read in a textbook or figure out intellectually. It's totally formless. It's a direct, mind-to-mind transmission.
And guys, this is where teacher Lin's modern interpretation truly shines. He unpacks this ancient idea of the treasury of the true Dharma I, or the storehouse consciousness, by comparing it to a digital cloud layer. It's brilliant. It's where all our unseen habitual tendencies and inner wisdom are stored, completely out of our direct view, exactly like data backed up to the cloud. We carry all this data everywhere, but we can't just see it with our physical eyes. To actually access this cloud layer and see reality for what it is, ancient texts like the Lankavatara Sutra lay out these incredibly deep frameworks. They talk about the three natures. They ask us to penetrate our imagined nature, which is basically all the false ways we cling to the world. Then, by seeing how things actually arise conditionally, that's the dependent nature, we can finally reach perfected nature, or true suchness. It's profound, heavy philosophy. But let's be completely honest with ourselves for a second here. And this is exactly the question teacher Lin poses to us. Are these ancient Dharma doors just too difficult for us? Honestly, penetrating the Lankavatara Sutra, completely breaking down those three natures, totally transforming our very consciousness into pure wisdom, is that actually realistic for you and me in just one single lifetime?
Which brings us to Section 3, the path of difficulty. Teacher Lin points out that while these traditional methods are completely valid and incredibly profound, they are exactly what Bodhisattva Nagarjuna called the path of difficult practice. I mean, this path requires deciphering an absolute ocean of sutras, plus gradual, step-by-step cultivation over immense, practically unimaginable periods of time. For most of us, if we're really being honest, achieving Buddhahood on this path is a very, very distant goal, and there is absolutely no guarantee we're going to make it in this lifetime.
Let's look at Section 4, the quantum language method. Here, teacher Lin outlines a really stark contrast. Instead of taking on the heavy, uncertain burden of that difficult path, we have an alternative, the path of easy practice. He beautifully describes this as an unconditional, totally free gift prepared for us by Amitabha Buddha. It completely replaces all that gradual cultivation with just an immediate connection.
Okay, this is where Teacher Lin's interpretation from his notes gets truly mind-blowing. He doesn't just call chanting a nice tradition. No, he describes the phrase Namo Amitabha Buddha as a meticulously designed quantum language programming method. Just think about that for a second. It's essentially a code designed directly by Amitabha Buddha that lets us completely bypass the need to intellectually decode that massive ocean of sutras. It directly taps into that ultimate reality we were talking about earlier, unlocking profound realization without needing to rely on a single written word.
To make this even more relatable, Teacher Lin's notes use this fantastic smartphone metaphor. He says Amitabha Buddha is kind of like a super loving family member who has been calling and texting you for 10 kalpas. That's an unimaginably long time, and he's just waiting patiently for you to unblock his number. When you chant Namo Amitabha Buddha, you aren't performing some confusing, complex ritual. You are simply, finally picking up the phone and answering the call.
And that brings us to our final part, Section 5, 3 simple requirements. To access this amazing, unconditional, free gift, Teacher Lin outlines exactly what's expected of us, and honestly, it is astonishingly simple. Number 1, believe that Amitabha Buddha truly exists. Number 2, vow to be reborn in the Western land of ultimate bliss. And number 3, simply recite the name daily, Namo Amitabha Buddha. That's literally it. Faith, vow, and practice. These 3 super simple steps completely replace lifetimes of grueling, difficult study. So let's connect this right back to the beginning of our explainer. Remember that ancient promise we started with? The one that said realizing true reality could instantly wipe out the karma of Avicii hell? Well, Teacher Lin points out that this simple chanting method fulfills that exact promise. One sincere utterance of this quantum code can dissolve heavy, terrible karmic obstacles that we've accumulated over beginningless kalpas. It is literally the ultimate shortcut to that realization. And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. Teacher Lin emphasizes that the inconceivable benefits of this practice are very real and heavily documented. He points to modern, real-world examples in his lectures, like the widely shared eyewitness accounts of Bhikshuni Fajue's rebirth, where she was reportedly received right into the Buddha's light. It's tangible, real-world proof of the joy and the incredible power of this easy path. Which leaves us with one final, very personal thought to ponder today. We've seen just how incredibly difficult the traditional path is, right? And we've seen this elegant quantum language solution provided as a free gift by Amitabha Buddha. The phone is ringing. It has been ringing for 10 kalpas. The method is entirely free, and the requirements couldn't possibly be simpler. So the only question left for us is, are you going to answer the call?